There is so much to see and do at the 2019 Game Developers Conference next month that it can be easy to overlook whole segments of the show, and organizers want to ensure you do not miss out on one very unique corner, the alt.ctrl.GDC showcase. This eclectic array of offbeat, unique, and just plain interesting alternative controllers is open to your BD attendees and will make its sixth appearance at the CONFERENCE March 20-2022 in a Moscow Convention Center. The story behind each of these unique games is fascinating, and the team at Gamasutra have been publishing a series of interviews with this year's alt.ctrl.GDC participants that delve deeper into where their creations come from and how they were made. They have already covered about half of the 20 games in this year's showcase, with more on the way, so make time to check them out before GDC arrives next month. You will have a better idea of what to see at the show this year, where these remarkable games came from, and how you might apply lessons learned by their creators to your own work. Because the book ritual is played using a book shredder, players must do something that no purely digital game could ask them to do: permanently destroy something. The game uses this to confront the player with how they feel about that destruction, reflect on other things they may have lost, and lets them play out the idea of growing after a period of grief. The book that they damage becomes a unique and personal object. Their destructive acts become creative, using a physical book to act out the emotions behind a story helps players feel what that means to them on a physical level. Guitar Wizards is a unique hidden game that lets players make music together. It can be played competitively or cooperatively, as players settle into a groove and find flow. By taking away the screen, Guitar Wizards brings players face to face in an epic battle, and creates space for a crowd to form around their performance. The LED battleground also creates the feeling of being a badass rockstar wizard, casting flashing spells that travel towards an opponent. PLNG is designed to be controlled via the unique motions and functions of a household toilet plunger. Interesting one-button game design keeps the mini-games fresh and exciting, while short play sessions allow people to come, plunge and leave without much commitment. Table for a table of shimmering colors and song looks to bring players together through its dazzling light show and accessible design. In Cuckoo you control a flock of mechanical birds with the mechanism of a cuckoo clock. The birds all move in their own tempo, which encourages the player to jump from clock to give new commands. The interaction contains visceral pulling on weights and finally, setting the hands of the clock. The gears inside the mechanism resist pulling and rattle along with the movement of the birds. All in all, this creates a frantic, multiplayer game where you are never really in control. The team challenged themselves in creating an accessible controller from a basketball toy, partnering with the Idea Realization Lab in Chicago DePaul University. Over time was built with hardware that allows it to sense how a player is moving as they play with the toy, creating an amazing little basketball game. It may look like an normal arcade game from the front, but the nemesis is a secret, a hidden entrance behind the arcade booth. Those HOENT the lair of the nemesis, a dark room with a screen, chair, and a plethora of controls, including a rope, crank, lever, pedals, and various buttons of diverse shapes and sizes. While the players on the outside enjoy a high-speed competitive 2D platformer, the nemesis hides in their lair, utilizing the tools at their disposal to activate environmental traps and weapons to tactically dispose of the players and become the ultimate victor. In this interview, Creative let Henry Lund talks about how and why Continuum Bacterial uses two custom-made face shield controllers paired with two custom fabricated control panels in order to give each player their own split screen. The face shields flicker a voltage-dependent privacy film at safe, varying rates. In coordination with this rate, the on-screen game also flickers at the same rate, effectively showing two separate screens to each individual, depending on the rate their mask is flickering. In order for each player to see all of the enemies on screen, they must adjust their mask to the frequency of each type of enemy. Once adjusted, they will be able to see the encroaching enemies and eliminate them with their turret controls. Extra Reality Codebreaker is a single-player puzzle game where each puzzle is designed in two parts. The first part uses a diode to interact with the small game, while the second part requires the player mimic that interaction outside of the controller. This creates a unique experience, which ends with the player constructing their own version of the controller in order to solve the final puzzle. The name says it all. Couch a couch co-op game works the idea of couch co-op local multiplayer video games by cutting out the video part of the game, moving the entire experience onto the couch itself. LED lights and audio serve as multimedia feedback as players interact with the couch cushions, which act as the game's controller. Couch plays with the way we interact with each other on couches, in video games, and in public spaces, challenging the implicit rules of these social spaces in order to create a silly, unexpected experience for players and spectators alike. Each of these interviews offers a unique perspective on a remarkable game, one of which may win the alt.ctrl.GDC award, which includes a $3,000 prize, plus a special trophy handmade by game maker and farmer alt.ctrl.GDC participant Ruben Baumgarten, at the IF ceremony during the with judging taking place on site. No matter who wins, all DD 2019 attendees who stop by the alt.ctrl.GDC exhibit will have the chance to play all of these inventive and innovative games using unique, one-of-a-kind controllers, and it may be your only chance to do so. For more details on GDC 2019, visit the show's official website, or subscribe to regular updates via Facebook, Twitter, OS. Gamasutra and GD are sibling organizations under parent company and former new members from the Apt Group show that 2018 was a standout year for Nintendo. In a series of tweets detailing the firm's year-end sales estimates, analyst Matt Piscotella said that the Switch was 2018's best-selling platform, both in terms of units sold and dollar sales. Not only did the Switch dominate 2018, but Piscotella also notes that the partially portable console had the highest annual unit and dollar sales total for any hardware platform in the past 3 years, beating out a record set by the PlayStation 4 back in 2015. Looking at video game hardware as a whole, the Apt says that just over $5.1 billion was spent in 2018, an 8% increase from last year's hardware spending. In just December alone, the Switch managed to beat out a 2009 record set by the Nintendo Wii for highest dollar sales in a single month. A similar milestone was also set when looking at units sold during December. Piscotella says that the Switch achieved the highest December unit sales for a single platform since December 2010. In another thread on Twitter, Piscotella attributes much of this late-year success to the December 7th release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, a title he says performed significantly better than he had expected, and pushed the Switch to highest sales in the year. The Data drop also offers a peek at the best-selling games of 2019 across various platforms. But it is worth taking those sales numbers with a grain of salt. The group's reporting on game sales, particularly digital, is not an exact measurement since not all publishers fully share data on their sales with the app. But the charts can still offer a general idea of what games on trends attracted attention throughout the year. For 2018, the app records a grand total of $16.7 billion spent across video game hardware, software, and accessories, the best-selling game of 2018 across all platforms. In terms of dollar sales, not units sold, was Rockstar Games' Red Dead Redemption 2, though it is worth noting that 11 entries on that top 20 games list are missing sales data from either digital or PC digital sales.